ourselves silver. You remember I told y'all silver about $40? Look at that bad boy. We've been friends that $40 mark that we talked about last season. We are at 49. You should be happy with your profits. We're getting a little bit of rejection. We should get more weakness from the British pound, which is going to strengthen the dollar. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Goldman Sachs, if you haven't followed me on Instagram, I am looking at Goldman Sachs for some Wells Fargo. Same thing. I do believe that all the banks are J&J, Johnson & Johnson. We're going into the health sector. Well, we kind of have Hey, good morning, my neighbors. Welcome to another episode of BYTTT. Got a lot of work to do, and we're going to get right to it, to the new and improved BYTTT. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button. That way I can go ahead and let the algorithm know that it is a great show. I want to say thank you to all my fans. I am officially at 500 subscribers. All right, so let's keep this ball rolling. Let's keep the momentum going. Share and like and send it to all your friends. That said, I did say I was going to do something very special for every single person that help in that regard. So very simple, very simple. Okay, I want you to go to the randisgroup.com and look for my contact information. The first 5 people to email me, will get access to my all VIP exclusive alert system and premium Discord. Yes, that means you can have access to what makes me a very successful trader, and we could go ahead and knock it out the park. I have great things, and I'm going to do a nice little preview video. You do not want to miss out. So that is, go ahead, go to durandisgroup.com, find my information, and go ahead and send me an email that you're interested. All right, that said, I want you to go ahead and also look at the description. The description is going to go ahead and show that I have my merch. My merch is still there, and Get Rich If It Trying is going to be recording in the next few hours. But before we can get into that, we got to go ahead and really talk about this market. Now, the market has been doing something very entertaining and interesting. Looks like we got a little bit of neutrality on, right? And we dropped well. We dropped well into the 50-day moving average. We had a nice little bounce off of there coming into Sunday. Very curious on how the market responds to this. Of course, it is supposed to be a holiday with Christopher Columbus, but it looks like that is not the case. The market should be relatively normal. So please, by all means, be careful. Just because it is said to be normal does not mean it will operate as such. I'm still anticipating low volume, as hedge funds and other individuals are probably going to go ahead and relax at the same time. So that said, I want to go ahead and say thank you to all of you as we get into this, because we got a lot of work. So that is NQ. Oh, I got it in the wrong spot. That's supposed to be the dollar. Let's go ahead and fix that. And so we already went over NQ. Let's go ahead and look at oil. Now, oil over here is doing almost the same thing. We got into $59. Remember, I talked about this a couple of months ago, saying that we should be coming back into this register here for oil. And I want you to be happy with your profits. If you missed out on it, please tune into before you take the trade. We've been talking that for months. This head and shoulder had panned out. We got up into this upper register, but we never did the full measure move. So I do think this is just a dead cat bounce. We came back up here. We get a little bit of rejection. We should get more weakness from the British pound, which is going to strengthen the dollar. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Bitcoin has dropped substantially, and I did think that it was supposed to come to this level a long period of time ago. I think there's still some more pain to it. So even with this pullback, this is going to be very interesting because they knocked out a lot of support. So previous bears, hey, I would salute you. Y'all did a lot of work. But right now, the bulls are coming back, and they're coming back with a vengeance to see if they can recapture some of that cash. If you've seen some of the headlines, a lot of people have lost some money. And then we got the Russell. The Russell should be strengthening up during this time because everybody's going to get out of the large caps, and it's been a nice little move to that. Oh, excuse me. It's been a nice little move to that upside and continuing to probably get a nice little push. But again, I don't like these gaps. I really don't like these gaps. And if we go over to the US dollar, the US dollar didn't really go anywhere. So I don't understand why we're gapping and the US dollar is also powering up at the same time. So right now we're kind of building between two different little areas here, between that order block, and this order block got blasted through and everything else. So it's going to be very interesting on how we're going to deal with this as the market is trying to dissect where our next target is going to be. All right. So that said, let's go ahead and keep this party rolling. I got a couple of things that I want to go ahead and discuss. It's going to be all around the earnings season before we get back into our cycle of covering the news and everything. Today we only got one company, which is Fastenal. Fastenal, if you know about them, they are a very interesting company. They were traded a lot during the pandemic, but yeah, they're still around. All right, they're still around. All right, so let's go ahead and pull up this ticker. They have earnings coming up. They are anticipating returning money to shareholders, which is what I always want to see. But we got this head and shoulders looking action here. So even though we pull back up, we broke an uptrend. So I'm anticipating that this earnings that's dropping in a couple of hours, or an hour to be exact, is going to go ahead and continue to the downside. So we'll see what happens. This could be a prelude to a kiss goodbye. So be prepared for that. All right, so let's go ahead and keep this going. What else we got? Tuesday, couple of things. Goldman Sachs. If you haven't followed me on Instagram, I am looking at Goldman Sachs for some downside. We got a nice little push to the downside with the news, with the Trump news when he's talking about tariffs and everything else. So I'm looking for that to go ahead and continue to the downside based on those parameters, because there's a couple places I'm looking for. I'm looking for 743 and maybe even testing order blocks at 723. I know it's going to be tough around 758, so be prepared for a bounce here, and this could be just the momentum just to go ahead and drain this thing down, so keep that in mind. Also, Wells Fargo, same thing. I do believe that all the banks are where everybody's cashing their profits right now. They already broke their trend a while back, and I had this on my radar to continue to the downside, looking like it's opening up that MACD right in that lower register, and we're going to see what happens there, which also brings me to my favorite Citi. Citi, remember we kind of talked about this a couple months ago, that Citi is trying to get back to its swing of things by the housing bubble. I don't think we're going to get all the way up there, but I kind of marked off some levels just in case it did, and you could kind of see what it's doing. And a nice little pullback would be great. I would say $79, if true, that could give you the catalyst to get us back up there, but I don't think it's going to get back to pandemic levels. They do not have the same assets that they had before. Let's keep this party going. Quite, and earnings season is kicking off. We got so much stuff going on, and then we got J&J, Johnson & Johnson. We're going into the health sector. Well, we kind of have a little bit of a seasonality when it comes down to healthcare. So Johnson & Johnson should benefit from that. Nice little push up to the upside here. Let's see if it holds as we go into earnings and continue. At night, we got nothing too spectacular. We got equity bank shares. Hancock Whitney, and we got something called Carew. Let's talk about Hancock. Let's see what that is all about. This one is reporting tomorrow night. Let's see what this chart. Oof. Wow. That is an order block right there. That, if there's anything that tells you watch out for anything to the upside, that should be this. With this whole entire push up down and a nice little pullback, look for this thing to kind of continue to the downside. I won't be surprised that we get a bounce off of the 54 off the earnings, no matter what happens. It could be bullish, it could be bearish, it could be successful, it could be bad. Let's see, do they return? Yep, they return money to shareholders, just a low revenue float. They did pay out dividends, 45 cents for this type of stock. That's not bad. So yeah, may want to put this in your radar just in case. All right, so that said, like I said, I just wanted to go ahead and say thank you to everybody. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button. And I am excited that I have hit 500 subscribers because of great people just like you. That said, I'm gonna bid you a fond farewell, and I will see you next time tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye bye.